Digimon takes on political correctness, and I gotta tell you, I kinda love it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
So yeah, it's exciting stuff that's going down over there in Japan. You know, the Olympics were going down last week, but this actually I think it's even bigger news, and I'll get into it in a minute. But before I get into it, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario SDW and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. Eventually I'll figure it out. Like right now, if you can check it out, I'm not in my usual studio. I'm actually down in my parents' house in Mexico. This is my old room. You can see a whole bunch of stuff I have behind there if you want. I'm torn because I think this is a better background. I don't know what I'm going to do. But also, I mean, it's technically Otaku Tuesday, so I guess we should play the open. Welcome to Otaku Tuesday.
NANI? Otaku Tuesday.
I know, it's just me. Eric was supposed to be joining me, but unfortunately, also, it's a Wednesday. I know, it's Otaku Tuesday on a Wednesday. Everything's confusing, everything's out of whack. And technically, Eric was supposed to join me for this one, but our wires crossed. Like literally yesterday, he crossed over there, I crossed over here. I had stuff to do. Point is, we're figuring it out. Eventually, we'll figure it out. It's gonna happen eventually. But we have big plans for Taco Tuesday, and they involve the new movie that's coming out this Friday, Evangelion. But I'll talk about that after I talk about the Digimon stuff, because Digimon stuff is important, and actually, I'm pretty excited about it. So, Digimon Tamers celebrated its 20th anniversary a few days ago, maybe last week, I think. And for those of you who don't know, Digimon Tamers, well, Digimon is an animated TV show about there's kids that get trapped in a digital world and monsters that are created in the digital world that transport into this world. And it's very similar to Pokemon in a way, except that those monsters are digital, and when they evolve, they come back. So it was a little bit campier. Honestly, I always thought Digimon was a better TV show, but in the video games arena, Pokemon always kicked its ass, because Pokemon had a better formula. On that note, the video game Digimon Survive was delayed from 2021. It's supposed to be coming out in 2022. I've been waiting for that one for a really long time, because it's going to be a Digimon RPG, where it seems like if your character dies, they're dead. It's permadeath, so I'm excited for that. It looks like it's going to be a lot more mature in terms of the video game. But we don't have an official release date. As soon as I have one, I'll let you know, because it's one of the games that I was most excited about last year. It just hasn't come out yet, and we don't have any information for it, but it looks really good. Anyway, so Digimon Tamers is technically the third iteration of Digimon. The original Digimon came out like 25 years ago. Then the second generation kind of sucked. Then the third generation, honestly, I think it's the best. Out of all the TV shows, I thought it was the best one. It was the most mature, and it completely changed the concept of Digimon. Before, the first generation is kids get sent into the digital world, and by mysterious reasons. In Digimon Tamers, Digimon was a show and a card game, and the digital monsters appeared in the real world. So it's like the digital world was encroaching into the real world. And it happens also in the first season, but I thought the way that it was handled in the third season was best. It's the most mature. It's where the characters, the humans, are actually the most involved. Like the first couple of seasons, it's like, oh yeah, I'm using the power of courage and heart and all that stuff to push my Digimon forward. Here, they actually have a role. They have to use cards in order to have their Pokemons have an effect. They're actually directly involved in the battle. So, honestly, to me, it's the best out of all the generations, and it has a clear open and a clear end. I love the way that it opened and it closed. I love the fact that the main character created his own Digimon, Gilmon. All three of the all three of the Digimon are great, but Gilmon's just fantastic because he's just a baby and he's trying to figure out his way in the world. It's fantastic, but he's a big, dangerous baby, a big, giant, reptilian, dangerous baby. I have one of those. They're fantastic. Anyway, so I particularly love that generation. I thought it was great. Came out 20 years ago, and to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of Digimon Tamers, there was a thing called Digifest. And so Digifest happens every year, and in Digifest they did a special live reading of a brand new episode that would count as a sequel to the show, a direct sequel. And by live reading, I mean that they brought back the cast, the actors, who did the voices for the original characters. They brought them back, and they read a script on stage. It was like a play, but it's just voice actors reading a script in the voice of the characters from the TV show. And honestly, the theme, I think is fantastic because the main villain here is political correctness, and they treat political correctness kind of like a virus that's infecting the internet, which is interesting because in Pokemon, I'm sorry, Pokemon, Digimon, it's about viruses on the digital world. Here, you could argue it's the ideological virus that's infecting the real and digital world. So it's very clever the way it's handled, and it uses the attacks that it uses is political correctness. The attacks that it uses is cancel culture. It's great. So I'll just read you a bit of what they said that got a lot of people angry, very angry, and it's funny because I've been reading, like reactions to this. I thought it was fantastic, but the reactions to it are great. Anyway, so extreme political correctness, where anyone who objects is removed. Censorship on the internet is rampant, and real news covered up by fake news. People with a different opinion have their online accounts terminated, and even alternative perspectives are set out to be crushed by fact checkers who only inform answers. What was that? I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Even alternative perspectives are set out to be crushed by fact checkers who only in uniform. I'm sorry, I don't know how to read. Even alternative perspectives are set out to be crushed by fact checkers, so only uniform answers can exist. So, it went out in that way, and obviously the play is way longer. But those are the things that are just the things that really upset people, and cancel culture and the cancel culture attack and all that stuff. I think it's really clever. First off, it shows that the Japanese don't give a fuck about anything. Like, you know what, we're based, they're fucking based, and they don't give a fuck, and they just flat out say stuff, which is super important. And it goes to a bigger point of the way, other cultures see the West, and how the cultures see how political correctness is affecting everything. And honestly, I kind of agree with what he's saying here. There's a big issue, and I had this conversation with a few friends of mine in the Spanish podcast. I haven't loaded that video yet because I'm working on a few kinks there. But I was having a conversation where I said, yeah, my big issue with political correctness and cancel culture and all that stuff and censorship in general. 'Cause if you listen to my podcast for any time, any particular amount of time, you've probably heard me complain about cancel culture a lot. You've heard me complain about censorship a lot, and I've been trying to figure out a way that I can streamline that idea. And like, why does it bug me so much? And in essence, my big issue with it, I think it's censorship is anti-scientific. Science invites questions. There's a curiosity to it. You can contemplate an idea. There's a curiosity that's innate in science. And if somebody just flat out says, no, your opinion's stupid, well, it's like, you know what, go fuck yourself. You prove it. So you either prove that I'm wrong, or, you keep poking questions. The best way to prove a lie or to find out somebody's lying or that somebody's wrong is you just keep asking questions. And you find holes in their arguments or whatever. Like, I think this is... All right, I think the Earth is flat. Okay, well, why is it that... Where's the edge? Well, all right, okay, the Earth is flat. Where's the edge? Where do we find it? Why is it that we can fly around? Why is it that astronauts... So, again, questions. Science invites... science demands questions, and censorship is immediately like, no, you can't ask that. No, you can't. The way that he puts it here is very interesting, that perspectives are set out to be crushed by fact checkers, so only uniform answers can exist. Uniform answers are not a thing. It's not a thing in human history. It's not how we work. We need a variety of perspectives so that we can actually figure out what the truth is. And it's very hard to figure out what the truth is. So it's important that you actually take your time to figure it out. Take your time to actually investigate. You ask the right questions. And in the end, you know what? The truth stands on its own. You don't need to shut down other people. Like, for example, people who believe that the Earth is round, they don't have to defend that the Earth is round. They can just point to the data. There's the information. If you want to be an idiot and don't believe it or whatever, it's up to you. But the information is there. I don't have to defend the truth. The truth is there, the data is there, and if I ask questions and you get upset, well, it's your fault for believing something that's not, in the end, verifiable. So I really like this, but the interesting thing here, the fun part, is that after this went out, it kind of went viral, the writer was immediately proven right. So, apparently there was a lot of backlash from fans in the West of Digimon that did not like this perspective and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you're proving their point. You immediately proved their point by this backlash on the... listen, most people don't care. That's a fact. Most people don't care about stuff. At least that's my personal opinion. Most people don't care about anything. They just want to be left alone. Big majority, or at least I think the majority of people that I've met, they want to be left alone. So the people who are really loud on the internet are mostly losers. No offense, but mostly losers, or people who just want to impose some kind of power on somebody else. Like, oh yeah, they want to feel like they're paper tigers. That's the way I think Bill Burr put it. They're paper tigers, and they want to like impose like some. They want to feel powerful and like, oh, I'm gonna shut this person down. Like, hey, this is a person who created a show, who's important, who actually did something. I'm gonna shut him down. I'm gonna get him canceled. Whatever. Those people suck. They've never produced anything. They don't matter. Honestly, they don't matter. The real fans, they don't care. Most people don't care. So, also, Japanese don't care. It's really weird. They don't care about money. It's really weird. Shows that could be really successful and go on for 10, 20 seasons, they're like, nah, I'm going to do one. I don't want more money. I want to do something else. So, really weird. Really interesting culture, but really weird. Anyway, so the point here is, after this goes out, everybody upset. Well, not everybody. Like, the loudmouths on the internet, like, upset. Like, how could you do that? You're lost fans, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Good fucking reasons. Who cares? Legitimately, who cares? And I think that was the author's response. Is like, you just proved me right. Thank you very much. There you go. You're proving my point, and which makes his work even more relevant. So check out the video. I recommend it. It's interesting. Check out the show in general. I thought it was great. Digimon Tamers in particularly. And you don't need to watch the other Digimons in order to get what Digimon Tamers is about. So I recommend that. And so with that, we close Digimon, and we need to talk about Evangelion real quick. By the way, first off, Otaku Tuesdays, even if it's on a Wednesday, I've decided it's going to be kind of the day of the week where I'm going to talk about anime news, manga news, anything kind of related to Japanese stuff, because I'm kind of into that stuff too. And so usually Eric joins me and we do a review about something, but even if Eric doesn't join me, I'm just going to talk about news related to that. It's going to be the day for that, usually. And this Friday, the movie's coming out. The fourth movie of the Rebuild of Evangelion is coming out, which is named like a freaking. I hate the name. I have issues with the name because the other ones were like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and the next one is 3.0 plus 1.1, and it's not. You cannot. The other ones were like you cannot redo, you cannot advance, you cannot. The fourth one, I don't even remember the title, but I had a lot of issues with the third one, a lot of it, and it's because it completely changed what Evangelion was supposed to be. Completely changed it. And it's controversial, but it means that the fourth movie is probably the most anticipated anime movie of my generation, at least, I think. Or at least to me, because I need to know how they're going to end this. Are they going to fix it? Or what the fuck's going to happen? I haven't even watched the trailer for it. I don't think Eric's watched the trailer for it. But anyway, we decided. Friday, we're going to watch the movie. Next Otaku Tuesday, we're going to do a spoiler-free review of the final Evangelion, of the Rebuild of Evangelion movie. And that's going to mark the start of pretty much Evangelion month. Because if we're doing the review of the fourth one, spoiler-free, we got to go through the other ones. And if we're going to go through the other ones, we got to go through the original Evangelion. So after that, the next Otaku Tuesday is going to be a review of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Then the movies that came out, the end of Evangelion, maybe Death and Rebuild. I think we can do those two together. Then we're going to do Rebuild 1, then Rebuild 2.0, Rebuild 3.0. After that, we will do a review of the latest Evangelion movie 4.0 that comes out on Friday with spoilers. So that's how that's going to work. So that's going to be Otaku Tuesday for the next bit. Eric said that he wants us to dress up as he wants me to be he wants to be Ray and to meet, and he wants me to be, I want to be, if I'm going to be somebody, I'd rather be Misato, because it's just like a red jacket and it'd be easier. But he's like, no, if I'm going to be Ray, you got to be Asuka. And I'm like, dude, we can't afford those. We don't have the budget for it. We don't have the budget to buy freaking onesies just for a joke. It's like $50 for one, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll think about it. It depends on how much we're gonna be drinking that day, and if we decide, you know what, fuck it, let's just spend $100 on it. Who knows? Well, we'll think about it if the joke is worthy enough. But we'll see. Anyway, so that's how that's gonna work. Again, this next Tuesday, review spoiler free of Neon Genesis. I'm sorry. Next Tuesday, our spoiler-free review of the last Evangelion movie, for the fourth one, Rebuild of Evangelion. And from then on, every Tuesday, or maybe Taco Tuesday on a Wednesday, who knows? Sometimes, people forget. From then on, we're going to be doing the Neon Genesis Evangelion, the full series, the movies that came out for it, the end of Evangelion, and then Rebuild 1, Rebuild 2, Rebuild 3, Rebuild 4. Some of them we might be able to do together, but who knows? Eric and me, sometimes we just get really, really into stuff and we go on tangents and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's it for today. I think that's a good place to stop. As always, thank you for joining me. Oh, well, let me just give you a quick reminder. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario SDW and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. Eventually, once I figure out this whole calendar thing and when I figure out when I'm going to be when, I'm probably going to be doing gaming stuff again, but it's probably going to be Spanish in my Spanish channel. I'll talk about that more on the Spanish podcast. But as always, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.